Welcome, everybody. Friday afternoon. You got Raz GPT, GP, GTP, whatever the acronym is. I got tongue-tied there. You've got Choppadong here, MLB Live Lock Show with DFSArmy.com. And heading into the Labor Day weekend, I don't know. Maybe we've got some plans. Maybe we'll do a little Friday happy hour. Maybe we'll throw a twist into today's show. But as people do pile in, I kind of had a question. I was wondering how long they would wait for the teacher to show up to the college classroom, because you know for a fact that nobody waits more than about 5 minutes. And I thought maybe we missed our window today. What's going on, dude? I'm glad you stuck around. I'm glad you didn't bail.
Yeah, not a lot. I just was caught off guard and waiting around, and I don't know. When you have a lot of different hands in on something, like sometimes things get forgotten about, I guess.
The dominoes got to fall in the right direction. I'm waiting on somebody. You're waiting on somebody. He's waiting on somebody. They're waiting on somebody. Next thing you know, if one of those links falls out of the chain, the anchor sinks to the bottom of the ocean and the ship floats away. So it is what it is. But we're here. We're back. People are piling in. That's a good thing. We'll see how many we get to today. And again, hopefully everybody is getting set to have a good end of the summer and a good Labor Day weekend. Colin's in here. He's Logan Allen, a bad boy, and of course, Tattoo's in there as well. Let's dive in. Let's do. Oh boy, I'm not going to mention that one in the comments. Let's blow that weather station up. Take a quick look at that baby, and a whole bunch of green, a little bit of yellow down there with Minnesota and Colorado back in Coors Field. Slight rain chances, nothing that we need to worry about. So we will dive on over to the old DS and share that screen as well. We'll just jump right in today to DraftKings. We'll check the chalk, and then we'll ask Razzle where he's going with some of that pitching, because this is going to be about as big a slate as we typically see. That means the options are all over the place tonight. And the chalk shows up on the pitching tab, Robbie Ray. That's not what I would have predicted. Robbie Ray, Jonah Tong, Paul Skeens, all pulling some ownership, a little bit of George Kirby, Blake Snell, and off down the list we go. Would you trust Robbie Ray in a cash game?
I would.
Sure.
I mean, elite ballpark for him, but also the Orioles are absolutely the worst team in baseball against left-handed pitching.
Oh, you said left-handed pitching. I was going to say, otherwise my Cardinals would like a word.
Yeah. They're atrocious against left-handed pitching, and that ballpark is built for pitching as well. So, Talk Robbie Ray normally sounds wild, and he is coming off of a start where he struck out 0 batters.
Not good for the floor.
But still, he's just somebody that makes a ton of sense. Now, the slate does have a ton of pitching. So there is that, but still, I think he's the one to go to.
Okay. Well, I'm curious, because the way I look at things, without ownership, and this is where ownership has revolutionized DFS in my mind, because I will lean on it for cash games, and then I will very quickly look for sensible pivots in tournaments if we're building those lineups that way. And I just let it do most of the heavy lifting for me. And I miss things here and there, but generally speaking, it lines up pretty well. When I look at those K scores, and I look at Kirby and Snell and Skeens all over 500, and then drops off to 434 for Robbie Ray with 220 ISO against and a 357 xWOBA against, that doesn't scream cash pitcher to me. It doesn't scream like he's got a lot of upside. So I know it's an elite ballpark, and I know Baltimore's been kind of trash, but is that all we're leaning on? Price point to maybe get to Coors? Because, again, Kirby's only 9,200, and he's not pulling, chalk numbers. He's getting ownership, but he's not pulling the most on the slate. Where am I missing something? Because Christian Javier has – a 520 K score and under 100 ISO against. And I know he's facing LA and whatever else. And there's they look like other dudes in there that would lead me towards somebody else if I didn't have the ownership telling me just go ahead, use him as a block tonight and move on.
Well, I mean, somewhat comes to the fact that part of the Carnage report is so weighted in recent trends. Like, so that's why Robbie Ray's ISO number is so high, because his season long ISO against him is nowhere near that. Baltimore's ISO against left-handed pitching is absolutely atrocious. So, like, his K score is going to be weighted to the fact that he also didn't strike anybody out last time out.
Right.
There's just things that are obscure. Like George Kirby, his road numbers, his road splits are terrible. So, like, seeing him that high kind of worries me, just because, like, his numbers on the road are not great. Cleveland considered it attacking the best kind of pitching. I am using Kirby, but still, like you mentioned, Christian Javier. The big issue here is, like, he's not super lengthened out, like, since his return, and that's the big worry to me. So, like, he does have K upside in that matchup, but he's just not. I don't know. He's somebody that I'm not playing at all. Basically, I want to see what he's at, because he came out his first start through 80 some pitches, but then got sick in one start and threw 50 pitches. Had trouble with control in his third start and only threw 60 some pitches. So, like, I don't know what his length is as a starter. Coming back from, I believe it was Tommy John. So, like, there's just so many question marks with it that I don't feel great about Javier at all. I mean, Blake Snell has the massive upside, but he's obviously volatile as well. Like, Snell and Robbie Ray, very similar type pitchers. Snell has a higher ceiling. But then, like, you look at blue numbers for Cade Horton, he's pitching in Coors. Like, do you really want to trust a rookie pitcher going into Coors for the first time?
Yeah, not typically.
So, I mean, Rodon makes sense, but also the White Sox just haven't been striking out a whole lot. I don't know, like, the weather in Pittsburgh for Pittsburgh-Boston actually is not ideal. I've seen some updates throughout the day that it's easily the riskiest game, but there's a chance if they go with a late start, then everybody should be fine. But I don't know, like, there's just a lot of names that I think could be playable on any other slate, but since we have 12 games, like, you have to remove guys. Like, I mean, we haven't even mentioned Shane Bieber, who looked absolutely dominant in his debut. And there's Freddie Peralta's pitching tonight, too. Two rookies making their debut are two guys that I really, really like tonight. And that's always scary. One's pitching in that Pittsburgh-Boston game. In Peyton Tolley, huge strikeout numbers in the minor leagues. The other one, Jonah Tong, even larger strikeout numbers in the minor leagues. But the problem is the Marlins lineup strikes out 17% of the time against right-handed pitching. So, I mean, you just have names. Zach Gallen, Seth Lugo, guys we used before, and Detroit strike out a bunch. Jack Leiter's coming off of a double-digit strikeout game, but he's pitching in Sacramento. Do we really want to do that? Dean Kramer pitching in San Francisco, ballpark that we want to use pitching in. And I don't think San Francisco's lineup is all that dangerous. So just so many names. Like Yuri Perez even is a guy we've used multiple times. I saw somebody mention Logan Allen, and I'm just not playing Logan Allen especially on a 12-game slate.
Well, Harlock did mention 5,500 on FanDuel for Tolley. He says, "Is that something I need to jump on, or is that fool's gold?" I mean,
no, it's something I would definitely jump on if the weather cooperates fully. I would be all over it.
It's obviously a tournament play only.
Right. I mean, a lot of things is, do you really need the money on FanDuel ever? This is the biggest thing.
Well, yeah, that's always a question, like you're saying. Chuck's asking about Blake Snell. Why does he always look like at the end of the day he's at the end of his 3-day Coke bender?
Because he might be.
Right. I was to say, I can't I can't answer that one in earnest.
Certainly possible he could be.
I'm not on a first name basis with him, so I don't know. I don't know the habits and the musings and the free time of him. But yeah, I mean, and you're going to play MME. Tattoos in there talking single entry, hopefully, guide people there. Cash wise, you know what? Tonight, I'm not going to put a bunch of effort into it. I'm going to let everybody else dive on that left hand slider, get their number, and run out their lineup if they want and see how it goes. I think we've shown that a ton. And besides, you're the tournament guy, so I'd rather talk more tournament theory today than cash games. We can save that for when it's me and Tattoo. Who's your favorite among those pitchers for upside? I mean, we literally just ran down the list. I mean, you must have mentioned 15 guys.
Yeah, there's a ton of guys that are
name
wise, or
do you have a tier one?
Slate. I mean, my main plug for hand buildings have been a combination of Jonah Tong, Peyton Tolley, the two rookies with big time up K ability, and then Robbie Ray, Blake Snell, Paul Skeens. I mean, that's really it, with some Rodon, just because like he's one of those guys that I believe in a little bit of narratives for. So him going back to the White Sox, like I like the idea of him shoving it against them, but really Skeens, Snell, Robbie Ray, and then the two rookies are my 5 main guys that I'm just forcing myself to then have to pivot off of them when I'm hand building things. Just because it's so easy to click one of those two, so those two, especially Tolley, going off of him, going down to Nestor Cortez feels gross, but he is somebody that I am using. Going off of Jonah Tong up to some more Robbie Ray, going down to maybe Dean Kramer, or up to like George Kirby. But all the guys are kind of at the top that we really want to use, or that I feel good about.
Sure. I get the hand building thing, and that always brings up the thing that we see everybody go through in our Discords as they grow as players. We tell people don't get married, to a certain player, because if you're going to build 5 or 10 lineups by hand, it's just so easy to, I like how this lineup was going. And instead of a whatever stack, I want to try a whatever stack. And so you start with the same thing you started with the previous lineup, and then bang, bang, you're always going back to those same pitchers. Plug that guy in because he's so cheap, or plug that guy in because I like him so much. Next thing you know, you've got him 8 out of 10 of your lineups, and you're freaking overexposed. So definitely.
Yeah, you almost have to think of, when you're hand building, like, say, all right, I need to make sure I use this pitcher, start with that, and then I don't have them paired with this team, put that team in with that pitcher, and then go from there. Like, you have to force yourself to do that. Like, I make the mistake quite a bit. Probably the case with all the Peyton Tolley I have, just because I'm playing that matchup so much, and at that price tag, to where I have to force myself to make pivots. Like, I have a ton of Robbie Ray, Peyton Tolley hand-built combinations.
Right, and you'd obviously want to mix that up a little bit, because, the odds of those two being the nuts are not 70%. So if you have them in 70% of your lineups, obviously you're overexposed. Always good little tips for people there. Is there anybody that you're looking forward to attacking the most? And I don't mean necessarily even who's your favorite team stack. We'll cover that in a minute. But sometimes that differs. Sometimes, you'll see somebody and be like, man, I like this stack a lot because of whatever. But, man, I really, really think that this pitcher here is going to just implode. Do you ever look at it that way? Like, flip that Carnage report upside down and start looking at the bottom as to who you'd want to attack? Or does it correlate directly with your stacks?
I do kind of look at it that way sometimes. I tend to, I don't know, let my stack likes come from, I guess, each individual matchup as I research them. But mean, it's super chalky in that I don't like any of the stacks against named pitchers, and then there's sometimes where it's like I really want to stack against named pitcher. Right now, I kind of really want to stack the Angels against Javier based on what I'm seeing on the Carnage report. I don't know how much I'm going to get because I don't really love the Angels. But, I mean, and kind of want to stack against Shane Bieber. Right? Like, Brewers are, second or third in baseball in runs scored on the season. And Shane Bieber being that expensive, small implied run total for the Brewers, like it kind of makes me want to play them a little bit more, which is weird because I don't really like playing the Brewers because that lineup overall, from an optics standpoint, just doesn't look good.
That was perhaps the best internet glitch.
Trying to look at some of the ownership wise.
That was perhaps one of the best internet glitches I've ever seen. When you said Brewers, my computer went Brewers. It was funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wonder if it did it to everybody else. My internet's been a little in and out today, so it could be me, but you kind of, unless you're looking directly at me, it kind of cuts in and out. I don't know if it's picking up on your sound or if it's on my end or what the hell's going on. So I don't know. If you guys are having trouble in the comments, I apologize in advance for that. If it's happening to you, but that was just really funny timing.
Yeah, I mean, it might be happening a little bit on my end, but that's also because I'm running the DS at the same time as being on the show. And
I mean, I hate to say it. I hope it is on your end because I would hate for it to be something controllable that I don't know how to control. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not the most technologically savvy dude. Let's put it that way. Let's dive into the stacks. Let's play a stack game. You've probably got 2 tier 1 teams and then a bunch of tier 2 teams.
2 tier 1, 3 tier 2. Could make an argument for 4 tier 2s, but
all right. Well, we'll give somebody
I will argue against it.
Oh, well, then let somebody else guess the team and then argue for it since they guessed it and chose that team. Chalk is obviously the Cubs. And then there's everybody else. So I'm just going to remove the Cubs right out of the gate. Did you include them in that top tier or did you not?
They are not in tier 1.
Are they in tier 2 then?
They are not in tier 2.
All right. Did they even make your list? Are you taking how much exposure are you taking to the Cubs then? Or are they're not in a tier by themselves, are they? They
are tier 3. They're the one team that you could argue to be up in one of the other ones. I'm going to argue against it. Recent play
started in a better spot.
Most of the Cubs have been struggling, and then the whole narrative first game in Coors, I'll just keep playing that. I will be having probably too much on the mini stack side just because I'm not really fighting with the DS that much. So they're going to be one of my higher owned mini stack teams. But if I can adjust it more, they would be lower down. I just like some of those other spots a little bit more. A couple of teams that have let me down recently are staying above the Cubs this evening.
And let's see if you guys can guess who those are. There aren't too many people in here today watching the show. Everybody took an early, I guess, a half a day holiday weekend or something. So let's Long just showed up. The Prince just showed up. There you go, guys. You guys saying that you're late. That's 3 tiers and a beer tier. I'd reverse it and say 3 beers and a tier. Ivan says Texas, tier 1.
Texas is tier 1.
Good call, Ivan. Dude, Ivan needs to get on this show soon. Got the Yankees in. Harlock is asking for the Yankees.
They're not in tier 1.
Are they in tier 2?
They are in tier 2.
Yeah, we got to clarify. Making me clarify. Y'all are making me do a little bit of work here. Let's get out of here. Let's boogie and turn this thing on turbo drive. I'll take the big names. I've guessed the small stuff enough. I'm going to take the Dodgers and ask you where they are, tier 1 or tier 2, or not
Tier
at
two.
all. Tier 2.
Tier 2.
I'm going to take all the chalk teams off y'all's hands and let you guys play the guessing game. Cubs didn't make the list, Long. You must have just tuned in. Cubs did not make the list. Razzle's telling you first game in Coors, as well as, God, I forgot the first reason. The very first reason you mentioned.
Most of the lineups
Struggling.
not playing overly well. Yeah.
Right. Struggling bats, first game in Coors. Harlock wants the Houston Astros.
Houston is the other tier 1 team.
Wow. That's one I would not have gotten without looking at it a good bit. Good call. See, we got a sharp crowd, man. Pretty damn sharp crowd because they're all the way down about 5th in IRT, so they come down the list. You got Chicago, New York, Athletics, LA, Houston, Kansas City, New York Mets, San Diego is kind of the IRT order. It's going to get all muddied up down there in the middle beyond Chicago because of Coors. So it's, once again, either play the Cubs, fade the clubs, whatever you want to do. Everybody else is pretty low owned by default, so you kind of can do whatever you want. Where does Kansas City? They said Tattoo mentioned that you like Yaz again tonight. So where did Kansas City make tier 2?
Tier 3.
Tier 3. Okay, not quite up there.
Kind of sick of stacking them and being
let down.
I don't know. Yeah. Especially because you're right. A lot of times I say like they're just a team that you really shouldn't be 5-man stacking. I mean, like I can make a case to push 5-man, but like they just don't seem to have 5 guys getting it done together at the same time. Like, so they're more of a Witt, Pasquantino, maybe some Salvador Perez. Yeah, like Yaz lengthens them out with Michael Garcia or something, but they're just not a team that really seems to blow up. And going back to like talking about Houston a little bit, the biggest thing for me is some of the guys have big numbers against Tyler Anderson. The team has a ISO of 170 against left-handed pitchers on the season. Like, so they're just one of the best teams against left-handed pitching. And then in that ballpark with the Crawford boxes, that short fence, or the right-handed bats, like, things just kind of play into Anderson pretty well. I don't know if I cut out or everything just kind of loaded on my.
You did. You kind of did the whole. You did the whole. Yet again. So if you want to repeat what you were just saying about Houston.
I mean, just Houston. They're one of the best teams. Team ISO of 170 against left-handed pitching. They have BVP in their favor. Jordan, the one lefty that Anderson would face, has crushed Anderson, and then playing at home, short porch for the right-handed bats with the Crawford boxes.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was right at the Crawford boxes where you started cutting out, which figured that's where you were going because whenever I see those darn things, I always think to myself, I'd like to go drop a golf ball on home plate and hit sand wedges out of that thing because it's just not that far.
Right.
Did we leave anybody out? Looks like we're missing a couple of tier 2 teams still. Texas and Houston in tier 1, New York and LA Dodgers in tier 2. Chicago.
Just one tier 2 team, then.
Okay, well, that's because Chicago was the iffy one. Kansas City didn't make it, so there's one missing. Who can get it? Who can get it? DJ Raz GPT. That's what we should be calling him because he's giving it to today. Somebody's got it in their pocket. Come on now. If not, I'm going to start guessing. I don't think we want me guessing. And I bet I get it wrong. I do have 2 teams. I think one of these could be it. I don't think it's the Athletics. I would lean on the Mets, perhaps, if it was me. So if somebody wants to, there, Harlock says the A's.
The Mets.
Is it the Athletics then?
The A's are the other one. It is the A's.
Good job, Harlock. I was going Mets. I was thinking got a little bit of boom in that lineup, and we could really do some damage. How's the new Lambo? You know what? It drives like a hybrid. That poor Lamborghini's got no get up and go to it at all. But yeah, it's fun to drive a little car around. I got around the city. I was getting 64 miles to the gallon in that damn thing. That's just gross. I got on the highway and it dropped to 55 miles to the gallon. I was like, what? City better than highway? Yeah, because you're driving around parking lots and crap and using that battery all over the place. Anybody else in that stack stuff that you want to mention that has some sneaky chances that you're a little bit worried that maybe you aren't taking enough exposure to?
Detroit, just because Lugo has been bad in the second half. Seattle probably should be higher, maybe. And then San Diego is a team that I feel like Zebby Matthews can kind of get blown up a little bit. So I feel like I should play them more. But they're kind of tough to trust, similar to Kansas City.
Okay, I was just about to say, gun to your head, San Diego or Kansas City.
I mean, Kansas City has the better matchup. Paddock's been terrible, especially with Detroit. So, like, I would much rather play Kansas City, and that's why it feels weird to have them both in the same tier, too. At tier 3, considering I would much rather play Kansas City.
That's such a big slate, though, that, I mean, any one of these guys could do it. I mean, I don't know that the teams that struggle to make 5-man stacks work are going to be in the nuts stacks. Surely somebody else is going to go off. But I guess we never know. You got any bomb calls? Got anybody else you're really looking forward to hitting a home run? Maybe a prop bet or two, a K prop or something like that. And after that, I think we can let everybody go. Give them their weekend, man. Go drink a beer. Go. We're not fired up barbecue probably till Sunday or Monday, but get out there with neighbors. Enjoy the weather. It's outside of the West. Country's been decent weather-wise lately, and we get out there and kick summer out with a bang.
I mean, some of my home run guys like Yaz, Adalis Garcia, Soderstrom, Christian Walker, been hot, and so generally my home run guys are from my top tier stack wise, but you can never go wrong betting on Jazz and Cody Bellinger. The Yankees that aren't Judge, even though I think Judge obviously likely to hit home runs, but his odds just are never worth putting money on.
Did you have Schwarber on 4 bombs last night?
I didn't, but there's so much talk leading up because he was 0 for his last 20 or something.
Right.
But he only struck out 4 times in that 20 at bat sample. So there's a ton of talk about him just waking up. So it makes sense that he would do something like that, but a lot of my down calls just end up coming from my tier 1 and tier 2 stacks. Because if obviously I'm feeling home runs from them, they're going to be my higher own combinations. And I mean, you just can always pick a Yankee or a Dodger, right?
Sure. Well, yeah.
It can always make sense, but I'll go with the guys that recent trends: Houston and Texas, Adalis Garcia, and Christian Walker.
You've been on Garcia lately, and he's hit a couple for you.
Since he's returned from the IL, he's been on fire, actually. So I'm just going to keep riding. He's one of those guys that gets super hot for 10 days, and you just play him every single day during that 10-day stretch.
Absolutely. Ride that horse till it throws you. I was just curious, we ladder strikeouts sometimes. I didn't see it anywhere on Twitter. I was just wondering if anybody laddered Schwarber's dongs. I mean, could you imagine what calling 4 dongs would have paid?
Oh, yeah. That would have been impressive. I wanted to ladder strikeouts tonight, but Jonah Tongs came out at 5.5, his main prop, and that was at minus 175. I didn't want to ladder 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 against a team that just isn't striking out that much.
Right.
So Peyton Tolle would be one. I just don't remember. I didn't really look at what his numbers would be. And my browser's going to take forever to load. So he'd be somebody I consider just because of his huge K rate. But as the season goes on, K-ladders are become more and more difficult to hit because the book becomes sharper and sharper. First half of the season, we get a lot of mistakes in numbers.
Sure.
And there I went again, refreshed again. So, but yeah,
I figured you said you
basically,
were going
I don't know what you heard or anything, but
I think we got it all.
yeah,
You might have hitched when you were breathing as opposed to when you were talking, because I think we got all of that.
oh,
I just knew when you said you were going to refresh, I knew, uh-oh, here it comes again. So
yeah.
you're pulling max
Like
resources.
so it loaded up and Tong's K prop moved to 6.5. So yeah, like I'd almost bet the under on Jonah Tong's 6.5 number. Peyton Tolley definitely can ladder it. His number's at 4.5 right now. So like if you ladder 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, like you should be able to make profit. Like I would just do 4 and 5 to break, enough to break even if 6, 7, and 8 don't hit or close to even. But generally at this point, everything's pretty sharp unless you get rookie pitchers. The problem is Jonah Tong's had so much hype around baseball this year that like there was no chance that DraftKings was going to come out and give him a 3.5 K prop.
Right.
So,
right. Well, I'll tell you, for props, and I'm not a big sports bettor, but for props, laddering K props is fun because you sit and you watch the game intensely, waiting for the next K to hit. You're rooting for him just to dust everybody and strike out the side. And each time he strikes one out, you go, yeah, whatever, a little bit of fist pump. So I totally get that. I mean, instead of waiting for a guy to hit a home run or whatever else, the laddering of this one, then this one, then this one. I guess you could do the same with parlays and money lines, do an early game, middle game, late game, and as it goes, you might keep watching some baseball. But the K props are really easy to do that with. I like them for that.
yeah, it forces you to kind of watch at bats and watch how pitchers attack and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So then it allows you to learn the game a little bit more. But then it really allows you to tilt the fact that, I had one recently where like there were 14 or 15 at bats that got to 2 strike counts, either 0-2, 1-2, or 2-2, that ended up with a ball in play. Like, so, and I missed out on, 2 of the levels of my ladder because like he just stopped being able to put the guy away with 2 strikes. And that becomes super frustrating.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Just from watching baseball without sports betting, when they can't put the guy away, they'll go 0-2 on him or something, and then they'll walk him. And I'm like, oh, you are kidding me. That's so frustrating. So very tilting. Don says Cubs, Seattle, and Detroit Tier 1. And I don't know if that's on FanDuel where he plays, but over on DraftKings, it's Texas and Houston in Tier 1. And Chicago's kind of a fade. So I'd beware of Cubs on FanDuel as well. It does feel like a good night to fade them off. Their ownership discrepancy is just such a gap that you've got to gain some leverage if you get off of them and they fail. He's asking you, Raz, that raised what other pitcher would you have? And I think you mentioned the whole world, earlier, but I know he was late. So if you want to recap pitching really quick, then we can probably call it a Friday and move on.
Yeah, I mean, Ray seems like the obvious. Otherwise, like I go up to Snell, Rodon, Skeens, who I really like, and then the 2 rookie pitchers in Tong and Peyton Tolley. Tolley's the one that I'm playing a lot more of just because he's cheaper and he has a better K matchup. I mean, you can include like Kirby and Nestor Cortez, etc. But to me, my default has been a lot of Robbie Ray with either Tong or Peyton Tolley. And if I can spend up, Robbie Ray with Rodon or Skeens.
Sounds like a plan for me and you and the DFS Army crew. I think that we can call it a Labor Day weekend. I do not think that we'll be here Monday. I know it hadn't been determined yet because I haven't seen. I keep September 1st for Labor Day Monday is a weird day, of course. So I wasn't ready for it. But I'm going to anticipate we're just going to take the day. Have a good Monday. Are you going to be around?
I mean, I'm going to be around. Just like generally, like holiday Mondays are earlier though. Like
Right.
I haven't looked at the actual MLB schedule, but generally when they have holiday Mondays, like they
They're
have
like
games all day long. I just don't know if they'll do that here, obviously. But I don't know. We'll figure it out and see if we can put something together. Go
Sure.
from there.
You might ask to grab a tattoo or something like that, because I think that Monday's the day that I need to go see my mom and do the barbecue and all that good stuff. And if that happens, they're going to want me to cook ribs, and it's probably not a lot of time smoking ribs. Well, there is plenty of time to do a show smoking ribs, but I'm going to be out in BFE, St. Louis woods, and probably not around much of a signal anyway. So we'll put that news out, I guess, to people over the weekend, and have yourself a good weekend, win a lot of money, hit those props and hit all that stuff. Yeah, lots of day games, Tat's saying, so probably not, but we'll keep you updated one way or the other. Thanks for the time, dude.
Yeah, no problem.
And I guess we'll catch you next week as we roll into expanded rosters in September baseball.
Sounds great.
Works for me. You guys, everybody, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And Razzle, I'll catch you on the flip side.
Sounds good.
All right, see you, bud.
Yeah.